Yeah, no, and look, Sergio makes a good point. I said this on the show. What about penalties? Mario said the last regime couldn't fix penalties. Mario's worse now. I agree. I said this on the show this morning. This is one of the big red flags. Now, look, Manny was in the hundreds of penalties every single year, so it was also bad. But it's bad now. It's actually worse now. We're 134th, I think, which would be the low point if it ended this way. So I agree on that point. Look, Mario's got a lot of question marks, man. We've been talking about it all weekend and then through the show. But I can still say other teams suck because they do.
Well, this is a good point, and I think unfortunately, you're part of feeding into this. Why do Miami fans and players don't respect ACC teams like they do big non-conference games? I think like we had this discussion over the summer. I remember we actually kind of got into it, and I was like, no, it shouldn't be a given that Miami. We've never done it, and I kind of feel the same way, man. We see every week these opposing coaches make it, bigger than what it is other weeks, right? Because obviously there is a momentum against Miami here, and this is not a conspiracy. Like I think we saw last week. And by the way, people asking why Rhett Lashley has a vendetta against Mario. Rhett Lashley's a Manny Diaz guy. Let's remember that he was a big Manny Diaz guy, and to this day, those two are still good buddies, from what I understand. And Lashley was not happy with how Mario spoke about the way that Manny, his tenure ended here and how Mario's gone on.
Or the Manny guys.
Right, or the Manny guys.
Right, which one player drafted in the 7th round. I mean, I think the talent level speaks for itself.
But made it to an ACC championship game with a ton of Miami cast.
No, not the Lashley. I'm saying in terms of what was left. Lashley's good. I'm saying what was left on the roster when Mario took over and then talked bad about Manny. We only had one player drafted in the 7th round. It was a fact.
We're trying to add color. You're cooking.
Yeah, let's go. Go ahead.
Well, my point is, I completely agree with what Kyle is saying here, and I think it's obvious this sort of mentality seeps into what the team does, and this is not a just this year issue. I don't think it has been this way for years, but I think there is something to this.
There is,
and I don't know what it is.
There is. Let's hyper focus on the Mario tenure for a bit. And I'm borrowing the argument from our good friends over at the Through the Smoke podcast, but they try to talk this thing out. I know why we struggled against the ACC over the last 15 years. We haven't been a good program. We've been middling. We had a couple outlier seasons here or there, a couple late season rankings that might have been fool's gold. But let's focus on the Mario stuff and what's happened recently. The argument that they made was in these big games against Florida, against Notre Dame, Mario's approach to let's play clean football, let's be execution, let's be real estate acquisition, let's control the game, time of possession, complementary football. That stuff works when you're playing those teams that have talent that is equal to you. But in the ACC, when you're matched up against teams that you have more talent than, and you use that same approach, you're running into teams that are playing to win, that are not complementing your style and approach to a game. Notre Dame approached that game the very same way. Look at how they treated CJ Carr at the start with kid gloves. Let's not make a mistake. Short passes. Let's get this into the 4th quarter and see which talent rises. That's not how SMU approaches this. That's not how Louisville was approaching this. They were going with kill shots. They played 3 quarterbacks in the first drive against us. They were running fake field goals, wheel routes, like turnovers late. Like let's just play our game. Play our game, which is always a certain style that always meets an elevated talent and meets them there at the summit. And I think that Mario needs to recognize that. It's the most convincing argument that I heard, courtesy of David Lake, which is Miami needs to change its approach. It's not just about tendencies, because by the time you get into conference play, you put in a lot of tape. Right. What your approach needs to be, let's freaking smash these guys. And we're not doing that. Our whole approach is time of possession. Why do you want time of possession against SMU? You want more possessions against SMU. If you're the more talented team, give me the ball as much as I possibly can have it, because I'm going to put up more points than the other team if you give me more chances. And that's not Mario's approach to these games. It hasn't been. It's been a little puzzling, which leads us to going 4-0, beginning with Syracuse. Let's trust the quarterback. Let's trust the playmakers. Let's get more possessions. Let's impose our will. Let's have more tempo. Let's go for it. Let's start trying to beat the crap out of teams rather than just get the dub. The time for just getting the dub, that is over. We have no margin for error anymore. We need style points hanging on them.
We can't even condense. We can't even constrict anymore.
Yes. So why approach a game like we're going to be a boa constrictor if we've lost that in our locker? We don't have that in our arsenal. We have to change our approach. We have to go into these games with the mentality of we're not just going there to handle business in TCB and come out with a dub. We're coming there to smash you.
Yeah, I think you talked when the question about why we keep losing these ACC games. I think, and I thought we'd run through the ACC. I was worried about Notre Dame, right? Mm-hmm. I was worried about those games. I thought we were 10-2. I thought we'd lose one of the early ones, lose one of the ACC ones, but I didn't think it would happen like last year where you lose 2 in the ACC and, still got 4 games to go. The issues would be, I would say first, like you said, there's more tendencies later in the year, or at least your tendencies are on tape later in the year. Teams know how to play us. With TVD, you remember they knew how to make him throw picks and that you go ahead and pass.
Yeah.
Go ahead and pass. With Ward, they knew how to force him to be patient and take advantage of that. Also, of course, they had the book on our defense even more than they did, in the Florida game. It wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
It was
run out wide, attack the flats, make Miami's DBs tackle in space. We were screaming for a month and a half on CanesInSight last year that this was a plan. We never adjusted.
Yeah, we don't know if we had the talent to adjust either. But yeah, the book was out there at that time. This year, the memo is clearly force Carson Beck to beat you. Anticipate it's going to be a conservative approach where you're like you've all taught boa constrictor, however you want to say it. This is going to be a close game. You're not going to blow out. On top of the fact that later in season games are closer anyways. Mm-hmm. So now you're really talking about tight games. And with those margins, a guy like Lashley, a guy like Brom who can dial up some game-winning plays, couple that with the penalties, and you see what we've seen. So I think it's just a situation. It's not so much about the ACC. It's about Miami getting worse over the course of the year and other teams figuring out Miami and Miami not being able to adjust, to your point. So that's been, to me, the problem is what we need to face here with 4 games left. The focus, they're going to try to switch up a lot of things. You can't change your whole team, right? You can't change your whole approach. Your identity is what it is at this point.
I was happy with the limited possessions that we had against SMU. I did think that Shannon Dawson tried to do some different things. We saw Malachi Tony in the backfield. We saw more outside runs. Miami had success running those plays. But yeah, you can't reshape the offense. We're not going to go to, a spread team.
But 4th down, 3rd down, short yardage situations, that to me is where there's the most meat on the bone, because we have been so predictable in these short yardage situations. And in the past, we've had the ability to power through that. Certainly last year, that was the case. Maybe beginning of the year, we saw that a little bit. This ACC stretch, we've consistently failed to convert in short yardage with the brute force approach. Mm-hmm. So teams are still going to have to respect the brute force approach, because there's a reason why they're putting all those guys in the box. You can't, you not only is that our tendency, but also you got to deal with the fact we got some big backs and some big offensive linemen that can push you back. But the opportunity to make big explosive plays when they expect us to run is sitting right there. Clearly, we have forged ahead, put our head down, tried to do the same thing. It has not worked. I think the short yardage in particular is where you could see the most creativity without changing the whole identity of your offense and everything else. That's an area where I think we can really improve and hit explosive plays like Elijah Arroyo against Virginia Tech, which was a huge, wide open touchdown in short yardage. The Jacoby George, I saw that running around Twitter, the play that we stole from somebody in the NFL, that Jacoby George got wide open against Texas A&M in the goal line in 2023. Steal some plays, do something. Let's get this short yardage offense more unpredictable, because right now what we're doing is clearly not working, and I don't see that changing.
Even though Dawson did have some different looks against SMU, I did find it curious that the response to all of us being really concerned, rightfully I may add, with the first half performance against Stanford. We don't like the look of this. You guys aren't playing Miami football anymore. You're not trusting the quarterback. People are on to us. You keep running into loaded boxes. What was Shannon Dawson's response to that? I'm a Shannon Dawson fan. Shannon Dawson, his response was to have a bleep-eating grin on his face and ask assembled members of the media how you run an outside run from a shotgun formation. That was his response to it. Okay, you're Shannon Dawson. You get to be smarter than us. Let's see this thing play out. What happens? You run it straight into a box with 11 dudes into it, and you don't have an answer for it. You could have had the game twice. And let's not forget the times that it didn't come back to bite Miami. Games that they were trying to salt away. They almost lost that Notre Dame game. Why? Because even in week 1, teams knew what you were going to do and they stopped it. You couldn't get a first down when it mattered. FSU, creep back up. Florida, creep back up. We were winning. We were going with it. Hell, you beat the hell out of Stanford in that second half. You know better. All right. What happens? You lose to SMU. Every single one of our concerns was validated. Singing a different tune this week at the presser, understanding that we just got to go. Now, early reports around the facility and the quotes have me feeling optimistic that they got the message, but we've been down this road before. It's bleeper get off the pot time for Mario Cristobal and the staff. You lost any grace. You lost the trust that we had. You lost the ability to have a bleep-eating grin on your face and ask the media how you run out of the shotgun. You lost that because you lost against SMU with a program that has built its entire DNA on guys you said weren't built for this down here. They've lost one conference game. It's time to put up or shut up.
No doubt about it. Zay Driver, appreciate your support. He has the comment and a question. Says Mario's in year 4 with his players, best recruiting class we had in years. Can't get to the ACC title game. No doubt. I mean, at this point, there's really nothing you can say. Everything that's wrong with the program falls at Mario's feet. It's his 4th year. These are his coaches. These are his players. This is his culture. It's his team. The only thing I could think to be out of his hands.
He's also not recruiting well enough, but that's, I said it. I said it earlier this week. Number 16 recruiting class, number 4, number 7, and currently number 11. That's not good. We were expecting top 5 to 7 classes every year. That's not good. That's not good enough for what we got going on.
I hear your
now.
point.
And yes, they should be winning against these teams. That's beside the point. They still need you can take both things in a vacuum. Should they be beating these teams? Yes, with the talent they have. Should he also be recruiting better? Because that's what his staple is he is a recruiter and he brings talent in. And you had transition class 16. You got a couple guys there, but not a good class. 4, 7, and 11 right now. And D, they're going to get a couple guys here. We expect that, but it's not going to be a top 7 class.
Here's a rebuttal to that. Despite all that, the years that you've outlined, what we're talking about is their struggles in the ACC, and they've been number 1 in the ACC. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Also,
it's still not good enough, though.
Yeah. No, I hear you. You want the classes to be better. How do you supplement this, though? He's not all in just on high school. Bang up job in the portal.
Yeah.
Tremendous job in the portal, and that's how you fill those holes. And also, you got to give it to their scouting. They've absolutely nailed to, like Malachi Tony was a 3-star last year. You used last year's class. If we regrade that class, Malachi Tony's a 5-star.
Yeah.
So I think that while I hear you, yes, I want the high school recruiting to be better. You would expect it to be a little bit better. He's done the things to offset that. He's scouted. He's hit on guys that were lower ranked. He's supplemented these classes with really effective transfer portal classes, and that shit counts.
The D-line needs more depth. The receivers are still lacking a big-time playmaker. The O-line hasn't been what we expected it to be. The linebackers are lacking speed right now. Safety room could use someone else. I mean, the recruiting to me in the portal, we can talk about these class rankings and all that, but there's still personnel missing. Again, you can be good enough to beat these teams and still look at the issue at hand because you can win out. This, what I said right after the game still holds true. You go win out. A lot of questions there, but I feel phenomenal about where this program is at with 10 wins in a row. But where my questions would then lie would be, okay, how do you finish this recruiting class? Because you didn't finish last recruiting class with the guys that you wanted to finish with. Mm-hmm. Can you finish this recruiting class out strong? And then what's the momentum like going into next recruiting class? That's what I'm looking at when you look at the health of this program moving forward.
Well, winning would help get this recruiting class, which going at least more to your satisfaction, which leads us to the penicillin.
Yeah, I like that. When is penicillin? Who wrote that bar? Did you steal that from somebody? Or is that yours?
I stole it from somebody.
I like it. With respect to what Pete's saying, notice how every time Pete talks about the talent, he goes, "It's not good enough for this staff." Well, my problem is the second part, right? If you need to over recruit, that's a hard deal. I'd rather perform to the level of the talent we have now, which would allow us to get into the playoffs and then recruit off of that. That's the fundamental problem I see. Like, is the talent perfect? Of course not.
I think they're just too stubborn and
the
undisciplined.
other issue is a bigger one.
They're just too stubborn and undisciplined. They have a good staff. They literally tell you in the microphones, you don't know what you're talking about. It is what it is. These are our tendencies. You just got to power through. They're undisciplined. They're beating themselves. You look at the box score. How do we lose to a team that has 23 rushing yards? You lose to a team that has 23 rushing yards when you give them 100 yards in penties.
Oh yeah, that's the story.
And here's my thing too. I don't want to get off this. I want to stay on this real quick, because like, does Miami have more resources committed to football than we've ever had? Yes, but I also think it is disrespectful to other programs across the country, not just the ACC, to say that Miami's the only program now who's putting more resources towards football. You don't think, and listen, I don't know what the exact numbers are, but you don't think Georgia Tech has a little bit more support than they've ever had right now with what Brent Key's got going on right now?
Duke's got a $4 million quarterback.
Duke's playing their quarterback more than we are.
And Miami, we want to win the ACC. We've never done it. But guess what? We're not competing against the ACC. We're competing against the rest of the country here. And I think it's disrespectful to say, well, Miami's putting resources. So what? These other schools aren't putting resources towards it either. So you give another coach these same resources here. I don't know if they'll be able to recruit even to the level that Mario Cristobal is doing right now, which isn't good enough.
Right. Well, I think one thing we need to acknowledge is, in this limited sample of CFP era, the easiest path to the CFP for Miami has always been through Charlotte. And Mario Cristobal does top-end recruiting, and we know when he lines his guys up against the likes of Notre Dame, a national runner-up last year, there is not a talent discrepancy. Miami looks like they're the better team, and they control it. Maybe they need to refine their approach and get some guys that can win inside this conference, though I don't think it's a recruiting thing as much as it's an approach, it's an ego, it's a stubbornness, it's a discipline issue. The good news is these problems are now clear. And over the last few years, Mario Cristobal has had clear problems present itself, problems that littered our comment section, D-Money. Get Gaddis out of here. Gone. We need a new DC. Hires Guidry. We love Guidry. 2 years later, get Guidry out of here. Gone. Fix the defense. Not only got a good DC, replace the players. We don't have anybody good in our secondary. Done. I guess 8 years from now, we're going to run out of problems that pop up, and we'll be all covered, because these problems don't necessarily replicate themselves. He seems to have a pretty good idea of, like, I can't let that get in my way. The thing that's getting in Mario Cristobal's way right now, I think, is a general approach, is how he views football. It's how he views adversity, which is we're just going to power through. It doesn't make you less of a man to be like, they're onto that tendency. Maybe we should change it up. And also, let's stop getting bleeping penalties.
Yeah.
That my thing is, I'm the discipline guy. Where's the discipline? You're putting up penalties the way that Manny Diaz did.
Yeah, real quick, but I wanted to get to the super chat that Zay Driver the question he'd asked was, who's our quarterback next year? I hope Lenore Sellers or CJ Bailey or someone along those lines, preferably someone with some athleticism. I think that's an element that this offense could use. Mo Hussein saying, the year they all won a natty. Appreciate support as always. Dabo, year 7. Ryan Day, year 7. Harbaugh, year 9. Mario's going to finish year 4. All those schools spend more money. I just want an ACC championship appearance, so I don't think
I want to stop canceling that hotel in Charlotte.
Natties are hard. I get that. There's very few active
10
coaches.
10 wins a year is hard. We've done it twice in 20 years.
No doubt. Well,
so let's go get it. Let's go get it again right now. And I'm happy as a clam, baby. I'm over the moon.
Will you be happy as a clam?
Will you be happy as a clam?
If you get 10 wins, I'll be happy as a clam.
Even if you miss a CFP? Even if you miss a CFP?
I don't care. I want to win 10 games. I want to be in the mix. I want to be in the mix.
All right.
We were a joke for 20 years. What are we talking about?
We're in the mix.
Yo, we were so bad. We were horrible for 20 years. And now we're going to go win 10 games. If we win the next 4 double digits twice in a row, what are we talking about here, man?
Let's be consistent winner.
The expectations need to be lowered, man. Stop it.
Pete is
lower your expectations. And by the way, again, let's go back to what I was saying. If your calling card as a coach is as a recruiter, then go get elite classes every year.
I love Pete is zigging and zagging all over the place. I love it. Do you think he's going one way? He's going down the negative lane. No, we're chilling. Go 10-2. Lower your expectations, baby. We're recruiting back.
We could still be we could still be a joke, but make me a 10-win joke. I don't want to be Florida. I don't want to be FSU. I don't want to be that joke, man.
I definitely don't want to be that joke. I would say we've been a little bit more. Well, the joke has shifted. I mean, Georgia Tech was a joke. 2023, that was the joke of the nation. Now I think we're kind of in like that Dabo, James Franklin territory. I'm not ready to give him that because those guys were more consistently good even before Dabo got over the hump, where it's kind of like you expect them to fail. We'll see. I mean, right now, this could go either way because 10-2. Again, I don't think we are. No. If I had a bet, I would put the odds less on going 10-2 than the odds of going 10-2 based on our current trajectory, the way we're playing, the way we've played for the last 20 years. So has not been done yet.
Can this team get punched in the face against Virginia Tech and Blacksburg and survive it? What will happen to this team if NC State goes up 7-0 and CJ Bailey starts feeling himself in his hometown? Certainly, what would happen in Pittsburgh if you go down 2 scores early? Does this team have the mettle to come back from that? They haven't had, like, last year's team, they were a resilient bunch. They had to claw back in games. That's not Miami's forte. Like, Miami, the most they trailed was against Louisville, right? Early on, 14-0. They haven't had to, like, scrap and be desperate and be predictably throwing every down and had no choice but to trust Carson Beck. I kind of want to see them to give themselves over to that without the situation dictating it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you here. Born Hustler saying, D, you're happy I'll go on 10-2. Wow. We got to make the playoffs.
That was your prediction before the season. That was
my prediction, but I also said if we don't make the playoffs, it's a major disappointment. And we just went through this whole, I think we'll go to the playoffs. If we go to 10-2, I'm more worried about the 10-2 part of the equation. Yeah. But, I mean, I think we got to make the playoffs. We don't make the playoffs, you're 4 after you missed the ACC championship game, which you've never been to. Under Mario Cristobal, I think that's obviously a huge disappointment. So
I don't know what people are saying. I'm defending Mario. I actually did quite the opposite right there.
I can't tell.
I can't tell.
You're a whirling dervish right now. I love it though. The people love it. They're hiring you. Mario cut Pete a check. I thought it was a saying to cut you a check because you're such a good football mind. No, he's saying you're on the tape. Other people are saying you're holding him accountable and you're the only one keeping it real out here with the shills over on this side. You're keeping them guessing, man. You're keeping them guessing. There's
no guess. Let's go 10-2. I'm happy as a clam. And I think the program's going in a great direction. But the recruiting needs, everyone needs to talk about everyone's talking about the coaching. The recruiting needs to be better, dude. Like,
Primetime Rambo, appreciate your support. Says, take out 1 year of Cam Ward. Mario struck out again at OC. Give me Marcus Arroyo. Seems to be the only OC a synergy with. I'm not giving up on Dawson like that. I think there's a lot of people that got to be better. We'll see what it looks like at the end of the year.